neither the Minister of Finance, neither the Director of Finance has ever written or spoken with the opposition to let us know of the availability of Taiwanese funds and how to access those funds and how the disbursements will be made.
His party's position for not accepting the funds is that it is in direct violation with Section 77 of the Constitution.
If Mr. Chu has money to give to people of Soufriere, will Dalsan accept it? Yes. Will Dalsan accept those monies in his hands or a check written to him? No. Will Dalsan accept it from the Prime Minister through a special fund spent through the Ministry of Communication and Works, or through the Ministry of Health, or through the Ministry of Community Development, or through local government? Dalsan will accept the money.
But had Dalson's personal attacks and comments made about the Taiwanese ambassador back in 2009 further ostracized his constituency?
I'm going to ensure that if Mr. Chu comes to my constituency, that I will do everything within the law to ensure that he is not welcome. Because I believe he has gone overboard.
Other MPs have praised the Taiwanese projects because it allows for short-term employment within their constituency. Dalso, however, believes that the reduction in the level of unemployment goes beyond the scope of individual representatives and believes that the reduction begins with a serious injection in investment, and if elected, both he and his party would follow this model.
Employment is a function of investment. If there is no investment, either in farming, agriculture, in tourism development projects, in the service sector, in the commercial sector, you can find employment. What we need to do right now, what has to happen right now, is to create the culture, the environment to attract foreign investment. A project like Hotel Chocolat, now employing almost 20 persons. Investment to 20 jobs. Jade Mountain, employing almost 100 people. Investment, employment. Laho, investment, employment. The Margaret Wood project, investment, employment.
Harold also lives in Fourbennier and experienced first-hand the devastation done by Thomas. As parliamentary representative, I asked whether he was satisfied with government's assistance in the rehabilitation of the tourism mecca.
Categorically, no, not satisfied. In fact, utter disappointment. And I'm saying that with anger, because I cannot believe that a government that had received so much money and has borrowed so much money, and Soufriere is no better off today than the day after the hurricane. To get something done in Soufriere post-Hurricane Thomas, you've got to beg, and you've got to go on the radio, and you've got to write government ministers. It is a fact. It is evident. You can see it on the ground. The rivers were heavily desilted. Okay, a portion of the river was desilted. Granted, I thank the Minister of Communication and Works for doing that. But in the process of rectifying one problem, you have created a bigger problem by dumping the silt on a playing field. If we have any heavy rains right now, the town is going to be flooded again. More than that, if you are going to desilt a river, the first thing you need to find is a dump site. And I can show the ministry three possible dump sites in Soufriere. There is a cost component attached to it because you are doing double handling. You remove the silt from the river, you truck it to the field, you dump it on the field, and then you are now going to use another piece of heavy equipment to truck it again to somewhere else. That is not necessary. That is a waste of taxpayers' money.
During the 2011 budget debate, the Minister of Communications and Works was noted as explaining the rationale behind the desilting of the river directly to the member for Soufriere.
The member for Soufriere, there are about 6 excavators working in Soufriere presently, and the contract for the main Soufriere River has also been awarded. And Madam Speaker, to allay the fears of people, a contractor came in and said, just pay him a mobilization fee, and he will desil the entire river, and he will take the material as his payment. Now, Madam Speaker, we would have to find places to go and dump this material. I thought that it was a wonderful opportunity. I brought it up to the Minister of Finance, and he agreed that this is the easiest way to go. So they are going to pull out the material from the river and take it and barge it to other places that they can use. This, Madam Speaker, will reduce the cost of having to desil the Soufriere River, which is quite an extensive amount of work that we have to do.
Dalso recounts several visits by engineers from the Ministry of Works, delegations from central government, including the Prime Minister. Yet, his constituency remains in a deplorable state.
Nobody can say that Soufriere has a semblance of recovery post-Thomas. Nobody. You look at the streets of Soufriere. You walk the streets of Soufriere. Every single street in Soufriere is in a deplorable condition. You drive to Font Saint-Jacques. At Crestland, it's a hurdle. Nothing has been done. You go to Font Saint-Jacques. Whenever it rains, children cannot go to school because the water channel flows in the main road. You have people who have been displaced and are renting houses to this day, and these persons have not been given any kind of assistance to help them post-Thomas.
According to Dalso, there is nothing more he can do but to take to the airways, to draw attention to the predicament of his residents, and hopes as well that his constituents understand that the reason Soufriere remains in this appalling state is because, according to him, the town has been abandoned by the King administration. Hearing his plan, it is apparent that, had he been holding the purse, areas desirous of critical attention may have benefited.
We need to begin to look at the needs of the town post-Thomas, so that if election is coming and one wants to engage in election projects without looking at the dire needs of the community, then that is not going to help us improve our condition. So between, say, developing a beach and repairing the roads in Soufriere, which one is the priority at this point in time? The resources are limited, there are few. How are you going to allocate the resources? Towards the beach, which is a very good project, someone we all must support, beautification of the Hummingbird Beach, very good project. From the time I was in the foundation, we had the blueprint for it, but lack of finance, we could not do it. But right now, we need to focus. We need to allocate and channel resources to the most critical areas, providing housing for those who are dislocated, providing assistance to the farmers of Font Saint-Jacques and Belfort and Chateau-Belair and Bouton and all over the place, giving them inputs at a cheaper rate, assisting those persons.
It is clear that Harold Dalso bleeds sulfur, and the cause of his community is his greatest concern. Time alone will tell if the 7,000 registered voters of Sulphur City think so too.
Teddy, Mamai Leba, Bonsoir, Mamai Leba, Mamai Quenlas, Mamai Fonjac, Mamai Moka, Mamai Biville, Mamai Chateau-Belair, Mamai Bouton, Mamai Palmis, Mamai Fauvenier. Pourquoi chasser ça fait ça?
To the beautiful and peaceful people of the constituency of Soufriere Font Saint-Jacques, my term of office is fast approaching. During the last election, you invested your trust and confidence in me as your candidate for the St. Lucia Labour Party. I am calling upon you again to entrust that same faith and confidence in me to continue the work that I have set out for the development of this community. You all will appreciate that as a member of parliament in opposition, that you are limited, you are restricted in terms of how much you can achieve for your constituency. I am certainly sure that not one of you will say to me that I was not trying. For trying, I did. Sometimes I was successful, sometimes I was not. I guarantee you, with the vision and the mission that I have, with the plans I have for the next coming general election, plans which I will articulate during the campaign, that if you give me this opportunity to represent you under a Labour Party government which will be in office, I'm certainly sure that within the first 100 days of our term in office, you will begin to see things happening in Soufriere.
It's politics time again. Are you gonna vote now? You people me a talk. It's politics time again now. Are you gonna vote now? Deal with love and not war. It's the right and it's the duty of a citizen to vote. Fire burn them constitution. Long time we need a joke. Fed up our promises and hopeless hope. Ballot box must be empty. Vote house closed. No one arm, no one choose the color of them clothes now. But some just plain greedy. No matter how we teach, they'll forget easier. Look, it's politics time again. Are you gonna vote now? This is love and not war. We all shall vote, yeah. If it's Rasta, then talking. Look here, bloodshed from Rima. Down in the valley, can't be here, Krypton has become a gunman compound. No place for people with citizenship, Lord. Them crying relentlessly, yeah. People moving every minute, every hour. Gunshot falling like